to That Business of Ours podcast. We invite tech industry professionals to cover various topics, and we promise to do our best to keep it both insightful and brief. In this episode, we have Sherwin Su, Senior Sales Manager of App Dev at Reddit. Sherwin, welcome to That Business of Ours podcast.
Thank you. Excited to be here and thanks for having me.
It is great. Thanks for coming, Sherwin. Alright, we're gonna move forward with setting the stage first. One of the most important skills in life is the ability to zoom out and take a holistic view on a problem. This approach is really instrumental in marketing as well. If you're an app marketer and your job is to drive growth, you should always take a broader look at where your potential or existing app users spend their time online. On today's web, there are many online communities where app users go to dig for information, seeking advice, or to share one. But there's only one of a kind that we'll be talking about today, Reddit. And to do so, we have Sherwin. But before we dive in, Sherwin, let's kick off with talking about you. What is your background in tech?
Yeah, thanks, Art, and happy to talk about it. So, what's actually interesting when I think about my background and career in tech is that I did not start in tech, and I actually started my career in choral music, growing up in the Philippines, which shout out to my Filipinos, especially since it's Filipino American History Month too. And during that time, I was doing a lot of touring across the world that got me exposed to so many communities and cultures. And this is where I started learning and getting exposed to how tech and social media, even for choral music, was really a conduit in connecting people, in connecting cultures, and showcased to me the power of community. This led me to work in, marketing agencies such as VaynerMedia and Essence, where I led different media teams, working on tech companies such as GE and Google, always at the core finding ways to connect brands and the communities that they want to serve. And eventually, having bought across so many platforms, I started a transition towards the platform tech side with Pinterest and now at Reddit. I've been in this industry for more than 10 years now, and I've really found this focus and passion in identifying the different challenges that brands in this industry is facing. And if they're able to find, refreshing, never been done, or new approaches in the way that they can do advertising and marketing and maximize the outcomes for all the parties involved. So I love this industry, and one of the fun facts in finding myself here at Reddit is that I was once their largest customer, and I'm so happy that I'm helping this incredible business grow today.
I love when people come to work to companies having the experience of using those platforms. It's the best way to be ready for your work when you know that platform inside out. Not from the back end, but at least at the user, like what you're going to be working with. Do you still have time to use the platform yourself these days as a user?
Yes, I really love it to. I love the platform and I love using it to really find recommendations and opinions from the communities that I trust. So, I definitely am one of the folks who read through different perspectives around investing, or I also take a look at skincare addiction since I'm huge on that. Skincare is life. And yeah, there are just many different ways to tap into what's interesting today and what's top of mind for people who share similar passions with myself.
I'm sure all of us know about Reddit. I think pretty much all of us know, but please, for the sake of those few who haven't heard about the platform, what is Reddit today?
Absolutely. I'm happy to share. It's what I do in my role. So, simply put, Reddit is a community of communities. It's driven by interests and passion, and at the core of our mission is to bring community belonging and empowerment to everyone in the world. So, Our CEO and co-founder, Steve, often compares Reddit to a growing city. And when I think about that, it makes me think that our city has more than 100,000 unique neighborhoods, which we call subreddits. And each of them has their own culture. They have their own set of like guidelines and sense of humor or vibes, if you will. And when you think about the extent of these subreddits, they can go from gaming to world news, like I said, skincare addiction, what things you can buy for life. And there's just a community for everyone. And I really love that about Reddit. And this is why when you think about people trying to find belonging and common interests and shared interests with other people within their community, it's great to see Redditors come here being able to ask questions, recommend products and opinions, and also, you know, find belonging with people who want to talk about the same things or are interested in the same passion.
You know what? I really love your CEO's growing city analogy because, like, in every successful growing city, there gotta be rules to make it work. And I know that Reddit has a really great self moderation system to keep it clean of any unwanted information you don't want to have your brand on the same page with, literally. This is why it works so great. Now, how do you see app users using the community on Reddit, and what does community mean to them?
Yeah, so when you think about mobile app users, Reddit is a place where we as an organization, as a company, as a platform, are sitting on 18 plus years of conversations across different types of mobile apps. And it's at different stages of the journey where app users either try to discover, learn how to use and maximize the different apps, and then eventually make recommendations on how other folks in their communities can also enjoy the benefits of like the apps that they're using. So for app users, they trust Reddit um, because they know that these communities have genuine discussions about the apps that they care about. So I'm happy to summarize it into three main things. Like when I think about app users, they really come to Reddit to find community with people who use the same apps and share the same passions within the categories of apps. They come to Reddit to also form opinions. Do we like this? What about this can be better? And what about this are we underutilizing that can really benefit my life and where I am today? And eventually help them make better decisions, like which apps is better suited for my situation and which apps should I download today to solve like the problem that I have. So again, it's often not a surprise for us that people come to Reddit to research, ask questions, and really celebrate even the different wins when we look at categories like sports betting or investing. So,
Yeah, I totally see how it works. People can be really passionate about things, and Reddit, this is their way, this is their environment to share their emotions, their thoughts, right?
yes, absolutely.
Well, now, what are some ways brands and mobile app proprietors are leveraging community?
Yeah, I love this question because for every mobile app that exists, there is a team behind that's making sure that the consumer product resonates with the audiences that they serve. And there's also a team of marketers that's making sure that the apps that they're building reaches the right communities and serves those communities with the needs that they have. So I want to break out this question into two aspects, right? First, being in advertising, I want to talk about it from a media perspective, that a lot of brands can really leverage the power of community to build their brand and build very authentic and genuine relationships with the customers that they want to serve. Um, there are a lot of different ways here at Reddit, having community at the core that enables brands to engage meaningfully um, in in a space in the internet that no other platform is able to provide. The second one is, acquiring customers, and I think this is a journey on its own because acquiring customers really pushes brands to focus on the core value propositions that they want to share. And what's great about Redditors as a core audience is they don't want or they aren't satisfied with surface level value propositions. They want to go deeper and really get to know the brand, what they stand for, and why these features are better and why these products will add value to their lives. And this spans multiple verticals in apps, right? There's like utility, productivity, there's health, there's finance and investing, and even entertainment. So across all of these verticals, the common proposition is to focus on adding value. And the last one is to retain and deepen customer engagement. Like a lot of our communities are visited by people who want to learn more about a specific product or category, but it's also composed of people who are using some of the apps and products. And so this is an opportunity for the brand to, um, create retention and ask their customers about what they can improve in the experience itself. And the funny thing is, we practice what we preach. So you see this with the way Reddit also engages with our communities to make sure that our products continue to stay relevant and continue to stay valuable. Then there's another aspect that goes beyond media and advertising. I think when you want to leverage the power of community, you should use platforms like Reddit to identify trends and connect with, what what's insightful today, where people are gravitating towards, and more than ever, why. So you need a lot of like in-depth conversations and discussions to uncover that. You want to understand user sentiment beyond media, like you can use communities to understand how is my user experience doing? What can I improve? Like, what about my products? Like, are they helpful? Are they valuable? Or are they very difficult to use? And Redditors will give you the answers on how you can do better. And they'll be super honest about it. And that's what I love about this community. It's a great way to test ideas and float it with the communities that you know will care about it and will probably tell other people about it if it's great. And again, engaging in these conversations that foster meaningful and deeper connections. So when there are opinions that are shared, you get to uncover the why behind the why, the questions behind the questions. And so I'll give you a good example. Like the ride-sharing car rental industry is a massive one, and we have brands like Turo, who are just looking to disrupt the market. That's tapping into Reddit to break through and find ways to listen to the community to better iterate on their product and acquire customers along the way because they're showing their community that they're listening and they're paying attention.
As you're describing the way to leverage the community on Reddit, this analogy comes to me that essentially the difference between what can Reddit provide and kind of a regular research tool would be, imagine you're coming to a doctor and you're either laying down in the MRI machine or just sitting on a couch with the tea and having a conversation with the doctor. You would prefer the latter one. So Reddit is a really great environment to engage with the audience in the place where they love to spend their time. Do you have any advice for brands as they're looking to tap the power of community-centric platforms like Reddit? Where have they found success?
Yes. So, advice for brands. First off, it's undeniable that the marketing landscape is changing and being disrupted, if you will, with the development of AI. And discovery is going to be more and more relevant. Like consumers are going to want information when they need it, where they need it, and in the context that they're trying to define that in. And that's why AI is going to be really powerful. And you continue to see platforms like Reddit be a source of information that's helping these AI platforms become way smarter and become more valuable and relevant to the customers that they're serving. So with that alone, every brand needs to be on Reddit. And if you don't know how, initiate that conversation um, with your partners, with your client partners and account managers. But there is a room for everyone to find community and to serve their community on Reddit. The second one is, your communities are craving for authenticity and connection. That's why they voluntarily join groups where people share similar interests. And so, if that's the case, sometimes it's more challenging, but it's very gratifying for brands who really take the effort to explore messaging, ways of engaging, and really clear the fluff out with what they're trying to communicate and with how they want to connect with their community. And so I think community centric platforms like Reddit, even especially for a brand, can be a breath of fresh air with how you're trying to do marketing because you really are challenged to focus on who you are at the core. Um, Tactically for a lot of app marketers, I also encourage them to really take a look at their measurement sources or measurement systems of truth and the way that they're modeling success more tactically and ensuring that the way that they're measuring really lines up with how their customers are making decisions. And they should be weighing and giving more weight to touch points where these decisions are being made, where these opinions are being formed, versus the very easy convenient way of focusing on last click and or click intensive types of models. So it's not easy, but I encourage brands to really model and continue to refine and look at ways to map their measurement to the customer journey. And when it's done well, it's going to be a really powerful mechanism. And Reddit's been taken a looked at and leveraged by brands as a diversification play. But in many ways, we've also been, really becoming like a core platform and a core way that brands engage and meaningfully acquire customers and build their business. So I'll give you an example. One of our um, awesome partners are public.com. For folks who don't know, they're an investment platform. I use them. I love them because I've seen how they really invest in their community and has made their product very easy to use from an investment platform and to also access insights about their investment and learn more about how to do this do this craft more strategically and more beneficially. And because of that, because of how they know their customers, they take a look into different types of measurement KPIs, such as payback period and profitability, to determine the way they think about media investment. And so this goes beyond your typical front end metrics, such as CPI, which, don't get me wrong, it's important. But I really challenge brands to think about other metrics that really tie to your bottom line. Um, they also listen to their communities. So they've noticed that their communities really share different investment outcomes, strategies, and discussions with one another. And so they took that insight and that pattern and released free form types of content and posts to further educate their community around what other features aren't being utilized to make their investing much more effective. So this is one of many examples of our successes that different advertisers have found. And we have more examples in mobile gaming, automotive, sports betting, and in case anyone's interested in learning more.
Now, that was really insightful and substantive coverage of the topic on the table. Now, let's have some fun.
Love it.
So, all new guests on the show get to answer a few quick questions. Here we go. What smartphone do you have now? Have you been switching between iOS and Android or staying one side all the time?
I am an iPhone user today, but gosh, I'm dating myself because I actually, started with a Nokia operating system, then went to Android. Um, Growing up in the Philippines and Asia, that's a lot more accessible actually, and now I'm an iPhone user. But I'm actually contemplating on switching, and I blame Reddit for it. So, in case you don't know, this is like a sidetrack, but one of our advertisers is Samsung, and they launched a Reddit first Switchers Anonymous campaign. If you haven't seen it, I can send you the link. But it's encouraging switchers and doing it in a very creative way. Um, so definitely, again, going back, it's like good discussions that we get to see about why it's worth the switch. I haven't yet, but yeah, hope that answers your question.
Absolutely, Sharon. All right, so you mentioned Nokia. Let's jump back in time. What was your first mobile phone?
It's the Nokia 3210. I was so happy when I got this, and if you know, you know, I really crushed it in Snake. So there you go.
I hear you. It looks like back then you could put a poster of Nokia 3210, for the whole planet because everybody were on the Nokia back in those days. Now back to present. So imagine you left your smartphone at home for whatever reason, you're out, and what would be the most missing feature for you?
Being a structured person myself, I think it's a basic utility of knowing what time it is, because I don't always wear a watch or if there are weather changes that are happening. But I love this question because, yeah, anytime I leave home, I really try to focus on, the in-person experience and connection. And maybe location, because I may not be the best when it comes to directions.
Got it. Small things that are important to have in hand. What new technologies are you most excited about? Something that's probably not trendy, not flashy, hardware, software, something that will make your smartphone a better tool for you.
Yeah, it's interesting because I'll talk about this in terms of what I'm excited about. I'm seeing a lot more of the mindfulness, mental health category really pop, and I think it makes sense because it's such an important tool that I think when a lot of people get more access to can gain benefits from. And I'm huge on mental health. It changed my life, and I love seeing more accessibility taking place. Especially a lot of people spend a lot of time on their phones, so if it's more accessible via app, from therapy, meditation apps, like I use Calm um, every day, and it's just great to see that trend happen because I think that makes our world a better place when we're a lot more mindful and in tune and connected with ourselves.
Absolutely. That's the smart way of solving the problem because we all know that smartphones is part of the problem of our anxieties and information overload. And if you can, kind of flip the table and use the same device to fix the problem, that's the way to go because this thing is can continuously be in your pocket.
Yeah,
So just like you were saying, you can help yourself mentally really in a great way. All right. Before I let you go, very final question. How can people get in touch with you and get more information about what you do?
absolutely. So you can get in touch with me on LinkedIn. It's Sherwin Su, and I'm happy to share the link with you, Art. And also, I am Sherwin at reddit.com. So happy to chat more about Reddit. Happy to chat more about marketing in general and how your business or your app can leverage the best of community. But yeah, hope that helps. And yeah, I love connecting with folks, so looking forward to that.
Absolutely. We're going to make sure to put those contact details into the description of this episode so people will be able to get in touch with you. Sherwin, thank you so much for spending time with us and being on the show. Thank you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
And that was Sherwin Su, Senior Sales Manager of App Dev at Reddit. To listen to more episodes, subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube podcasts. Just search for Business of Apps and you will find us easily. We release episodes on Mondays, so subscribe and you will be able to get new episodes on your smartphone, tablet, or computer as soon as we release them. And please don't forget to leave us a review or comment on iTunes. It is highly appreciated. And all episodes will also be available on businessofapps.com. Thank you for listening. See you next week.